Hi guys, I've just restarted the video again because I wasn't satisfied with how I started off the video last time. So I'm sorry I look absolutely shit again. This channel, I'm going to start every video off saying that because I look like shit in all of these videos on this channel because I just pick up my phone, put it down somewhere and start chatting. But I'm going to be talking to you guys today about special interests. Look at my fucking hair, guys. Like, it looks a state. And I look like the stereotypical autistic person today because apparently we all have Albert Einstein's features, believe it or not. We are supposed to have a general autistic face and hair, and one of the main factors is having messy hair. If you look at this, my hair, naturally, when it's down, is terrible. I have to straighten it to get it mildly okay because it literally looks like Albert Einstein's hair. My nose is a small nose and that's stereotypical for an autistic person. My mouth is quite long. Basically, I've looked all of this stuff up and my face matches the autistic criteria. But moving on from that, we are not talking about that today. We're talking about my specific special interests. Now, for a girl on the autistic spectrum, I have a very girl-based special interest. That made no sense, but yeah, that's what I have. So when you're a woman and you're on the spectrum, you don't like things that men like all the time. Now, I'm not saying that no women on the autistic spectrum don't like, say, Pokemon or things like that, because some people do. Some people do like male fixations. But me, personally, I was more sort of middle. Like, I wasn't into women things or manly things. I've always been in the middle. Now, throughout school, I was very interested in aliens. I was very interested in time travel. Now, I have been interested in aliens since I was 3 years old. And when I met my first best friend, I got her interested in it as well, and I'm pretty sure she got diagnosed with autism later on in life, but don't know. I can't remember what her diagnosis was, but it was something. And basically, she did like spaceships, rockets. We liked building things out of Lego together to try and make things space related. I used to draw aliens, and my sister taught me how to draw aliens. I was really fascinated in the concept of there being a realm outside of our own as a child. With my best friend, we would stand around a drain, and we really believed that if we stood around the drain for a long period of time, that we would teleport somewhere, and it would be completely weird and abnormal. I was also interested in the concept of life from an early age. From the age of 8, I remember asking my auntie what happens after death, and she said that she just doesn't know. I'm sure I had this discussion many times before, but this one strikes me in my memory the most, because I said to her, is there such thing as living before? And she said, yes, that's called reincarnation. So as soon as I got the internet, which was when I was about 12, I would research reincarnation all the time. Me and my auntie, even when I was really young, used to watch things like The Girl Born with Two Faces. I've been very much into scientific things, even from an early age. And as a young child as well, I used to be interested in older genre films. So like romance, horror films. And my auntie used to let me watch those types of things because that would be the only thing that I would want to watch. If she made me watch something like a cartoon, it would just be completely boring to me and I would go off in a tantrum. So it was always things that she liked to watch, I would also like to watch. I also liked a lot of attention when I was young as well. Like, I liked to be the centre of attention. I liked to take control in everything. I needed to be the one who guided my friends in a certain game and stuff. Like, I would have to be the person telling them what to do and stuff like that. Like, if they wanted to do it, I wasn't interested at all. So I think that sort of changed, like sort of turned more when I left school, and it turned more into time travel based stuff. So I would constantly, like, all throughout school, I was constantly like interested in, you know, aliens and things like that. Like, any given chance, I would look that up. I was also interested in the concept of autism because I discovered when I was about 12 that I probably had autism. So I would constantly look it up and tell everybody that that's what I had, read out symptoms, and they would get really, really bored. I suppose that was a type of special interest of mine as well, and it still is, because I still like to talk about it. I think it's very fascinating. I feel like people that have it should feel free to talk about it as well. And I do think that there is a point where you should stop talking about it, because people around you do get bored sometimes if that's the only thing you have to talk about. As we know, as autistic people, when we keep talking about our special interests, people do tend to get bored. So like I say, when I left school, it was more time travel based. Like, everything was time travel. Like, even now I still research time travel stuff, and I'm 20. So I think sometimes when you switch to one thing, it stays like that for a long period of time. But it can also, you know, go from one thing to one thing to one thing, but usually it's around the same topic, if that makes sense. I've always been interested in, how do I say this, science fiction, basically. But yeah, it's like something that's possible, but it's not necessarily true. Like, I am interested at the moment in time travel still, but I'm also interested in the Mandela effect, and on my other channel I posted about the Mandela effect. I always edit my videos on my other channel. If you're interested in that, then let me know in the comments below, and I'll think about telling you guys what that channel is. But this channel is just strictly for just uploading raw shit like this. I look like shit, I look a mess, and I just talk real with you guys because it's somebody to talk to and get my feelings out without being judged, okay? I sounded really cocky then, like, okay. So yeah, it's all Mandela, it's all about the Mandela effect at the moment. Because I've seen certain things in my life that have made me question reality. There was no houses built down the road a few days ago, and suddenly there is loads of houses built down the road. It does not make any sense to me. Maybe I missed it, maybe I didn't see all of these houses, but I just wonder how I didn't see them. Like, I drive past them all the time in my auntie's car, so how the fuck didn't I see this whole new block of houses? Like, I am absolutely gobsmacked. I still don't understand that. And things like Albert Einstein, and like, he definitely didn't die in 1955 from where I'm from. If this is true, the Mandela effect, maybe I'm just completely stupid and did not pay attention in history class, but my uncle used to constantly go on about him, and I am sure I would remember if he said something about him still being alive when he was younger, because he didn't say that. Like, he would constantly say he wished he could have met him, shook his hand and stuff like that. Well, he could have done that. Like, he was born, he was like a child when Albert Einstein died, 1955. So that to me is like, what? it really, like, that just blows my mind, honestly. It just really blows my mind. The Albert Einstein thing, and also the Mona Lisa picture as well, because that is, I can't even, like, that is, whoa, like, no. she Nobody knew who she was, and now she's something conquistador or something. Like, what? No, she definitely wasn't. Like, nobody knew who she was, and now apparently she has a name, and they've always known who she was. Like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, I'm not here to discuss the ins and outs of my special interests. I'm just here to tell you what they have been throughout my life. So I'm also into quantum physics. I suppose, like, science fiction again. That is like science fiction, but this is sort of proven because We know that things do exist on the quantum scale, we just don't know everything about it. Like the God particle, for instance, and there is actually such thing as the God particle. That's just an abbreviation of the actual name for it. And it acts in mysterious ways. This molecule, it will, I don't know if it's the right word to use, molecule. I'm not a scientist or anything. I did shit in science, but I do know for a fact that this thing exists and it acts in mysterious ways. Like if you're visually looking at it, it will act completely different than if you're not looking at it. So pretty much these particles, or whatever it is, have a brain, have a thinking system, but not like our own. So I'm into things like the fifth dimension and out of body experiences. You could say that I'm a very spiritual type person, but not all my interests are spiritual related, because like I said, I was into aliens. That's not really spiritual, that's just a belief. That's what scientists believe. Sometimes they believe that there's so many, like certain scientists believe, because there's so many potential galaxies, and in our own galaxies, within like 7 stars, or well, more than that, but within a certain amount of stars, there is a planet to them stars with potential life form on it. I like to watch the videos, but I don't necessarily pay attention to everything that's in the videos, but I do find them extremely interesting. So you can also have interests in friends as well. Like, all you want to do is just keep that friend and have that friend to yourself. You want to know all about that friend. You want to know what they like. You want to know how to keep them in your life. You want to go through all their posts. You want to go through all their pictures, not because you fancy them or anything, just because you're interested in them, like more than most people would be, because you are on the spectrum. Everything with autism is all about being more than most, if that makes sense. Like, okay, let's start off from the beginning. When you're a baby, right, you usually conquer the millstones a regular way. Okay, I don't know how all that works, but it's like something like 7 months you should have a certain amount of words. And with autistic people, we can have that same build up, but we can also go from the age of 2 back to the age of 0 and have to be retaught everything again, which didn't happen with me. And you can also just not reach those milestones, and you can also reach those milestones really quite quickly, and that is also an autistic symptom if you reach those milestones quicker than everybody else did, because all it is our brain develops differently from neurotypical people, like brain typical people. So like people like Albert Einstein apparently had autism, which I fully believe. He's got the face of autism. Do you know what I mean? Like, he looks like stereotypical autistic. Excuse my like, when I say things, sometimes I think the whole sentence in my mind and then end up saying a part of the sentence that isn't. Like, say if the cat like jumped out the bag, right? It might come out as cat jumped the bag, or something like that by accident, because it all goes in our minds very differently to neurotypical people. We take time to process what's being said, we take time to process what we are going to say, and we get easily distracted, and when we are distracted, we go off into our own little world, you could say, or we get too distracted in one thing and everything else just goes over our heads, and that's all we want to like do. Like, we just want to get that done, or whatever it is. And also, all we can think about is things we want to say when somebody's talking, or all we want to say is what we want to say when they ask us a question, but they say, hold on, let me just finish what I'm saying. So all you're thinking about when they're finishing off what they're saying, you don't get what they're finishing off saying. All you think about is, I've got to say this, I've got to say this when they finish saying that, I've got to say this, I've got to say this, and then they finally let you say it, and then they ask you a question about what they finished off saying, if you know what I mean, and you did not concentrate on that at all because they made you wait so long to say what you were going to say, that you couldn't think about what they were finishing off saying, if that makes any sense at all. That was difficult to say, like, not gonna lie, that was brain fucked me a bit, but you could be different. So yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. This is what I do, but special interests are different for everyone. You might not have one special interest, you might have loads of special interests, but the difference between an interest and a special interest when you're autistic is that it's more than most. It's all you want to come home to. It's all you want to do, really. Like, if you go to work, that's all you want to come home to do. If you go to school, that's all you want to come home to do. You don't want to do whatever you're doing in the moment because all that's on your mind is that specific thing, or it's your happy place. Like, when you want to feel better, you go back to your special interest. I know that's what I do. I look up time travel, I look up things that are really interesting to me, but like to my mates, I'd feel uncomfortable sitting and making them watch it because it's so something that I'm interested in. And when somebody else is, and I don't know if this is an autistic thing, but when somebody else is sat next to me, I want them to concentrate on what I've put on the TV, because I really want to make them interested. So I lose focus myself because I'm too interested in getting them to like what's being watched. So I'm like, oh, did you see that? Oh, did you see? So I can't fully concentrate on something if I'm showing it to the other person because my mind is literally focused on them enjoying the thing. So really, I don't enjoy watching movies unless I'm on my own, and it's really difficult for me to get interested in somebody else's interest. Like, if it doesn't interest me, it's extremely difficult to get me remotely interested. But if I want to be interested, I can force myself to be interested, but it's not, I find it difficult because with my ex-boyfriend, he used to like playing Magic the Gathering, and I did get into it because I wanted to, but it wasn't a special interest of mine. It was a special interest of his because he was also autistic. And I was trying to pick up on it because I liked him. I was about to say liked him, but then I just thought to myself, no, I loved him, and then it came out as loathed. Because I loved him so much, I wanted to, get interested in all of his shit, which is not supposed to change. For somebody you love, like, in a positive way, yeah, you're supposed to change, but not in a negative way. Like, not if it's something that you don't really want to change. Like, I didn't really want to be interested in the stuff he was interested in, but I wanted that connection. That was impossible, hence why it didn't work out. You can also be have an interest in collecting things. Now, my goal has been set out on my bedroom lately. For the past year, I've been getting things to make my bedroom look nice, basically. Some stuff I don't even use. Like, some stuff it doesn't really matter if I didn't use it at all. Like, for instance, stain remover. I bought this for my mattress, and it's not like anybody else is going to see my mattress apart from me when I'm changing the bed, but because I want my bedroom to be perfect, which is impossible, let's be honest, I bought stupid stuff like this. I bought Vanish, which you can see there, for my clothes, because my goal has been set out in making my bedroom look the best I can make my bedroom look, even though it still looks shit because I need to do something with the walls. I don't like this. I really don't like this. Like, I find it cool because other people find it cool, but I personally do not like it. Like, I know that other people think it's cool, basically, and I think it's cool that other people think it's cool, but like, I don't like it. Like, I want white walls with a grey ceiling and a grey door, and I want all these bubbly bits on the wall to be scraped down and just evened out. Like, I need to be rich, guys. And I also want can't speak today, guys. I was going to say laminate flooring, but I don't know if that's the right flooring that I want, but I want a nice floor because the floor looks quite bad. So I'm selling pictures of my feet, so if you're watching this and you didn't know that already and you like feet, then message me because I sell feet pictures, so why not? I'll leave my Instagram in the description below, and you can message me on there. What else was I going to say? I was also interested in becoming hippie-like and smoking weed just because I wanted to be hippie. I suppose copying people can become an interest of yours, so you'll pick up on what they like to wear, what makeup they use, how they speak. Like, you can even adapt your voice when you go abroad places when you're autistic, because you can do that anyway, but you can do any of these things if you're not autistic, but it's the severity and how quickly you do these things. Like, you can pretty much quickly adapt to a new accent, and because you constantly try to fit in, you can pretty much act like anybody when you're autistic, even if they're a bitch. Although you do genuinely get bullied for looking abnormal, even if you try to be normal when you're autistic, you can still try and, you know what I'm getting at. So I'd say keeping things in order is definitely a autistic thing, because you need order in your autistic life. You need structure. You don't like change. Like, all of my boxes here, they're all labelled and stuff, and that's only because I've had money the past year to do that. I would have done that a long time ago, like made my bedroom like this a long time ago. When I was living with my auntie, I constantly wanted to make my bedroom look nice. I suppose that is an interest that I've had for quite some time, because she had loads of her clothes in the wardrobe, and I wanted her to get rid of all of her clothes, like move them, not get rid of them, like put them in the loft. And she had them all in my bedroom, and I hated it so much, because that was my space and it was all of her stuff in there. So I suppose I just wanted everything to be the right way. I asked her to get me a chest of drawers for my birthday, things like that. I wanted my hair to look neat, so I asked for a hair straightener for my birthday when I was 12. So you do like things in order and to be a certain way when you're autistic. Like, some people don't mind their looks. Sometimes that's the least thing that you want to change when you're autistic. Like, you can want to adapt your personality to a different personality. You can want to change your interests. You can want to change your friendship group.